Hey everybody, it's Joel, aka The Daily Guru, and I am home in Ohio this weekend, and this week for the playlist, I have one of my oldest and best friends with me. This is Drew, and if there's one man who can hang with me when it comes to music, it's definitely this guy. He's taught me a lot. We've seen a lot of amazing shows, so we're going to talk about some of our favorite stuff today. So, first song, you ready?
One, two, three. Oh, close. One, two, three. Aha! Gotcha.
Okay. So the first song we're going to talk about is extremely appropriate. It's the band's classic track, Look Out Cleveland. It's such an amazing track because the band are one of those groups you can't really classify their music very easily.
No.
Because sometimes it's rock, sometimes it's folk, sometimes it's almost gospel.
But all of it's good.
And that's the amazing thing about them is they're one of those bands, there's not like a bad song in their catalog.
They're the band because there's Bob Dylan, and they're the band.
They're the band.
The band.
You might be in a band, but you are not in
the band.
It's got that great groove to it that the band were able to do. They were able to take like folk, but make folk groove.
It rocks. It opens up with a nice little piano riff, funky bass line, and then it's just rocking chords.
Just drops in.
My Morning Jacket do an excellent cover of it that they just tore up, and I see the influence there, but I see the influence of the band on everyone.
So, Look Out Cleveland, great track. You should listen to the entire band catalog, but definitely Look Out Cleveland.
The entire album is phenomenal from start to finish. That just happens to be the one song that we picked out since we are in Cleveland.
Look out.
Look out.
Look out.
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
All right.
Next song.
Round two.
Oh, man.
Aha! 2-0.
Damn, I'm just lying. So, next song then we will talk about is a classic. You might call it epic. We're going to talk about, it's a classic song, Faith No More's Epic.
When did that song come out? Probably maybe 91, 90, something like that.
Yeah, early 90s.
I remember that video, seeing this crazy guy with long hair, with those cutoff shorts, like fluorescent whatever, and
right,
long hair,
just going nuts,
jumping around nuts, and an exploding piano with a fish flopping on the... I'm like, I remember I was really sad that the fish was dying.
People pigeonhole Faith No More. People group Faith No More.
I don't know how you can.
They group them in with like hair metal, and I'm like, they are miles away from hair metal.
But maybe that's just because they're not as accessible as a lot of other bands, because they're not in that era of maybe that's the beginning of like grunge alternative.
Yeah.
You know,
You've Guns N'
hard
Roses
rock
representing the hard rock side of it.
They're so much more than that. They bring a lot. They bring some elements of funk to it, metal, alternative, grunge, hip hop for sure. I mean, Mike Patton is so original in his vocals. He can be very aggressive. He can hold a tune. He has hooks. He grunts. And he kind of raps a bit too.
Right, yeah. And I think today, when you listen to Epic, it's just as heavy, it's just as good. That could easily be a radio hit right now.
I find them, and you know, I'll give them props. I respect them. They were just inducted. Faith No More, to me, is a way more influential band, more overlooked, and more important band to me than Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Absolutely.
The ending riff of the piano is so mournful, and you just feel helpless, and you feel like a fish flopping around, like you can't breathe. You know, it's very sorrowful. It's a sad thing. You're watching something die. I never get tired of that song.
It's amazing.
It rocks. That song rocks.
Let me put my sunglasses on.
It's a law around here.
You got to wear your sunglasses.
So you can feel cool.
Because of course, all of you know then, we are going to be talking about the absolutely flawless Mothership Connection album by Parliament. This is one of those albums for me. I can be in a bad mood, a good mood, any mood, it's absolutely perfect.
Listening to Parliament is a substance in its own.
It is, it is. You can get high off of Mothership Connection.
That's the whole point.
I mean, it's a legal drug. Everybody is on that. You know, all of the great P-Funk players, you know, you've got Bootsy, you've got Fred Wesley, you've got Michael Hampton.
Bernie Worrell.
You've got Bernie Worrell, you've got Eddie Hazel. You look at it and you're like, are you kidding me? And then in the center of it all, you've got George Clinton. The
thing that's nice is like your ear can wander so many different places into the horns, guitar, drums, bass, synth, keyboards, the layering.
Right,
and
you
just,
can listen to one.
And George, we haven't even mentioned George.
I haven't even mentioned George. How are you not going to mention George?
He's an iconoclast. He commands attention. When he gets on stage, there's nothing else that matters in the world. If you're in that audience, you're transfixed. And, you know, they jam, too. That's
the big thing about them, and you hear that so much on Mothership Connection. They're not a funk band. They're not. They're closer to a jam band, if anything.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I'll always say it. Parliament Funkadelic All-Stars are the Black Grateful Dead.
Absolutely.
They've been around forever. They play forever.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know. They got an iconic frontman.
Mothership Connection is the sort of record that should be issued to everybody upon birth.
Yes. It's standard issue. Have you ever met anyone who said, I really don't like Parliament.
Right.
I don't like George Clinton. I can't stand him.
I don't think those words have ever been uttered in earnest. So those are our recommendations for this week. Make sure you check them all out and be here every single day for all the music news, reviews, and knowledge you'll ever need.